Hello, I'm Elaine Winter. In this video, I'm going to show you some very quick, fun drawing techniques, which are actually mindful drawing exercises. They're great, they're short, you can fit them in a very short space of time, which I'm going to show you. But they're also good for improving your observational drawing. So they're great for just practicing and improving your drawing. And also in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use those drawings to produce a colouring book sheet or a colouring book card, which you could either then use yourself or send on to somebody else to connect to them through your art. So lots of things you can do with that using watercolours and other things. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to do the short drawing techniques. So the materials that we've got some small pieces of paper, but you can use bigger sheets of paper, use whichever scale you feel comfortable with. A pencil, any pencil type will do, a rubber and a sharpener in case we need it, but also an object from our home, perhaps from our kitchen or from our cupboards, something that we potentially use very regularly, but may use our eyes around it in a different way to connect with it today. So the first drawing exercise that we're going to do doesn't even involve our pencil. So we're going to keep our pencil down. And I call it drawing because we're actually going to use our finger to feel the shape in the air around our object. So we're going to just use our eyes to connect with it and keep going around. This helps us to notice the actual shape that we might have taken for granted. So it could be that this jug has been used on a regular basis, but actually I didn't notice the curve of that handle and where it's been connected by the person that made it. So that's the first one. So that was easy. We didn't even need any paper for that one. The second one, we're going to do a continuous line drawing. And what this is once our pencil goes on the paper, it stays on until the drawing is completed. So normally we would draw with quite light sketchy lines and we take a break between the actual lines that we make. With this one, once our pencil goes on, and it's a good idea to use your pencil about halfway along, grip it halfway along. And I'm going to start with the lip of the jug. And I'm just going to feel around it. And what you can do with continuous line is if you think that's gone a bit strange, you can go backwards and forwards so that you can basically improve your drawing by going backwards and forwards and just feeling the shape of the object that you're drawing. These drawings, by the way, are not going to be great. They're meant to be warm-up drawings. So they're meant to be something that is fun, that isn't perfect, but it's something that is going to be helping you to look at and notice different aspects of an object so that you can actually do a really great drawing at some point from that. So that's my first one. That's a continuous line, and you can see that you can go backwards and forwards around. I'm not worrying about shading. I'm not worrying about detail. I'm just feeling it as I go with my pencil. So that's number one on paper. We did one before that, of course. I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult for myself now. I normally draw with this hand, and I'm going to give that hand a rest, and we're going to pop my pencil in my other hand. So I'm drawing with my opposite hand, keeping my grip halfway along the pencil again so that I can see what I'm doing. And this time it will probably go a little bit wobbly. So I'm doing a continuous line drawing again, but it feels lighter. It feels like there's more energy in the line this time. And my eyes are working quite hard with this arm that isn't used to drawing, so that I'm making a different kind of drawing. And it could be very wobbly in parts. It looks quite wobbly down this side, but that doesn't matter. I'll go backwards and forwards. And I quite like the energy of these kind of drawings because they are different. They feel like they're looser, but all the time I'm finding out more about my object, which is the key thing about these sort of things. It's hard not to just focus on what you're doing with these drawings as well, which is great. Now, this one is a good want to do, because it is never going to give you a brilliant drawing, but it's going to be a brilliant way of making your eyes work a bit harder. So take one of your pieces of paper, put your pencil in the middle of it and push it through gently. Make sure your hand isn't going to connect too much with the point of the pencil on the other side. And then put your hand underneath. So your drawing hand, we're going back to our normal drawing hand this time, but it's resting underneath like that. And now I'm going to draw my object, but I can't really see what I'm drawing because this is masking what I'm drawing. So I'm just going to draw it without even looking at my paper. So I've got a good idea of it now because I've been looking at this object for a while now. So you might have a better view of what I'm drawing than I have actually. And just, again, it's easier if you keep your pencil on the paper. And there we go. Never going to be the best drawing in the world, but all the time I was really looking and noticing what was going on with that jug. And you can keep that piece of paper with a hole in for another time, so that could be useful. Now we've got a collection of little drawings now, but what would be good is perhaps to spend a bit more time at this point and actually do a kind of best drawing, if you like, of the contours of this jug. So now we're warmed up, now we've got our eyes and our hands coordinated, you can actually sketch in your normal way. But again, for this exercise, we don't need to worry too much about shading. We don't need to worry about the lines on that jug. You might be doing something that's got a pattern on it. You don't need to worry about the pattern. Just feel like you're getting to grips with the shape of it. Okay, so you can spend a bit more time on this. Use your rub if you want to and get a really good outline drawing. Okay, so that's the object of those little exercises. Now, when you've done that, you can then think about how you can use your drawings to develop them into a colouring sheet. So I've got some that are in progress here. So this is a way of thinking about how you can make a colouring sheet from the drawings that you've been doing. So start at the bottom of, again, it's a very small piece of paper, and build up with different levels actually. So starting at different levels, copying the jug drawing that I did earlier, I'm just building up so that they will be layered up behind each other. So this is another example, but on this one I did the same exercises, the same 4 drawing exercises, but with a cup. So I got the outline of a cup fixed, and this time I'm just using the cup and the jug to build up a colouring sheet that I can then add some great contrasting colours as I go and build that up for an object for somebody to colour in. Now I've got one that I used. This is from 2 objects that I observed and did drawings from. So these are actually inkstands, and then use those to, on a different scale, so on a slightly bigger scale this time, you don't have to do it on a small scale, and really enjoyed building that up. And obviously I've got a bit more to do, and thinking about all the different colours that I could use. So you obviously don't want the same colours next to each other. You might want to colour the spaces in between in a different colour, or even, as I've done, in a very dark colour or black. So all these things are to be great to think about. This is a little postcard. So on this side, which is where you put your stamp and your address, and you put your message to someone you're sending to. But you could fill it in completely, but without putting the colour on. And then you could send that to someone to connect with them and say, would you like to have a go at colouring this in? I've done it for you. And it could be an object that you both recognise. It could be something that you both enjoy. It doesn't have to be a household object. It could be something like the outline of a bird. It could be the outline of a leaf. It could be something that you share, that you understand. So this one is actually watercolour paper. So it's a watercolour card, which means that the person who's receiving that can use watercolours on it or anything, and it'll stay in a good kind of format. It won't wrinkle and be difficult to use. So that's some ideas for you for this, going from Very quick observational drawings, which you can probably fit in about 10 minutes of your time, and then improve your observational drawing, get a really good contour outline, build it up into a colouring book sheet that you can either use yourself, which you could spend quite a lot of time actually adding colour to, that could take quite a long time, or you could send it to someone as a gift for them to do. Thank you for watching this Create to Connect video. I hope you enjoy making your colouring and doing your drawings.